Hello. I'd like to welcome you today to a new series which I've started, which is titled Walking with God in the Garden. I take this from the text found in Genesis chapter 3, where it says that God walked with Adam in the cool of the day. I love that saying because I believe we all need to take time to walk with God. And I believe that while we have the story of the Garden of Eden in the Bible, that wherever you live is your garden, and God is present. It might be in an apartment. It might be in a big home. It might be on the street. Wherever it is, that is your garden, and God is there. So today, as we stop to think about this being a very special week in celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, I want to give you a theme, and that is, there is a miracle in every garden. There is a miracle in your garden. First of all, when we stop to think about gardening, I know that there are people who don't really care much about gardening. They see it rather as a lot of hard work, problem with weeds, bugs and insects. And of course, here in Southern California, we have another issue, and that is the high cost of water. Be that as it may, there is no substitute for eating garden fresh produce. But in spite of all the hard work, it does pay off. I'm a gardener. I love gardening. It's a big passion of my life. And I have found that it not only is good for me from the standpoint of the physical, but spiritually as well. There are some secrets to the garden that I would like to share with you. First, the soil. The soil itself is a miracle. There are many types of soils. Some are good, some are not so good. But soil has within it the amazing ability to produce, and it does have within it all of the necessary minerals that we need for our welfare. I believe that when God created the world, He created it with every aspect that is necessary for our health. And over the centuries of time, we know that people have exploited that. Sometimes they don't replenish the soil. Subsequently, we have to use substitutes for our health, vitamins, for instance. But in reality, the right soil has everything in it so that when a plant grows, it has within it every need that we have, which it will fill. Then there is the seed. We think of seed sometimes as just a little kernel. But even Jesus knew the importance of seed. He made a reference to it one day when he was talking about his own life. He said, except a grain of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abides alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. I'd like to suggest, if you're not used to any of this, that you go to an agricultural store, maybe a nursery, buy a packet of seed. Take a look at a kernel of seed. In that kernel is a world of mystery, a miracle in itself. When planted and watered in the right soil, it will burst forth and produce a plant. The miracle is within that seed. It has energy in and of itself, will help sustain that plant, at least for a while. That miracle is something that we can all enjoy. But there is a greater miracle that I would like to share with you today. And it is the miracle that centers on this time of the year. The miracle of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We know when it came to the life of Jesus, it wasn't all favorable to the people around him. And then finally, they crucified him. And they put him in a tomb, thinking that that seed that Jesus had within him would be shut off and would not produce any more. I want to read for you today, though, that story which comes to us from the Gospel of John about the miracle of the garden. Because Jesus was put in a tomb in a garden where the greatest miracle of all took place. I share with you today from the Gospel of John. And it has to do with a woman whose name was Mary. But Mary stood outside the tomb crying. While she was still crying, she bent down and looked inside the tomb. She saw two angels dressed in white. They were sitting where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and one at the feet. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" She answered, "They have taken away my Lord. I don't know where they have put him." When Mary said this, she turned around and she saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Whom are you seeking?" Mary thought that he was the gardener. So she said to him, "Did you take him away? Tell me where you put him, and I will get him." And Jesus said to her, "Mary." Think for a moment the power of that word, Mary. Friends, we know that Mary was a woman of great sorrow. She had lost the one that she loved, the one that gave her meaning, the one that cleansed her of the demons, the one that she could enjoy, find confidence in, to really know what it was to live. Then all of it was taken away. Not unlike the soil that we take so much out of, so that we have a life of depletion and of need. Spiritually, it is no different. We can live lives of depletion, exhaustion, weariness. But then, when we enter the garden of the miracle and behold the Christ, and we hear him say our name, that can change everything. It can take sorrow and turn it into joy. It can take hate and turn it into love. It can take emptiness and turn it into fullness. It's my prayer today that you can find that miracle in your garden, in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and know that as you look to him, he calls you by name for all the fullness that he has come to give you. May God bless you. If you have enjoyed this video today, I would like to encourage you to please subscribe. And next week, join us again.